Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Not Matt's fault, it was mine, it's me for a parent. But anyway, you know, it's interesting that we're in the month of October still, and we've already played 2 games, exhibition or not. And that's not the norm. And last week was kind of a crazy week because it seems like I had spent more time on talking about getting ready for that game and tickets and all the things you had to do, and not sure I put enough into the other things. And this is a week where we really need to get better now. You know, we saw us against a Division II team who could penetrate on a very good team, and this team we played against a very physical, big team, big guards even. And so we've kind of looked at some things that we thought were strengths and weaknesses. We didn't think our post guys played well enough at times as far as we let the ball get in there too much. We felt our first game of dribble penetration was awful. Second game we shored some of that up, did a better job on our ball screens. Much better job in transition defense from the first game to the second game. Much better job of getting Josh and Miles to the boards. So, you know, we're trying to look at these different pieces of the puzzle. Did a better job of executing the zone offense the second game than the first. And yet I think the second game, the team was a pretty solid, good team in Georgia. So this week is about, you know, off yesterday. Spent a couple days now getting ready for Hillsdale, but maybe 2 days getting ready for us, and then the last day getting ready for Hillsdale, and that's kind of the way we're going to approach it. So I guess just questions, I think.
Tom, do you want to see a more concentration of your guys getting the ball in the paint and maybe not settling for a 3?
Yeah, you know, I don't think we, you know, you figure a third of your shots might be 3s, and probably somewhere in that area, but I don't think the ball has gone inside with the pass, you know. Some of it is Nick, you know, has got to post up better. Some we got to do a better job, but we are trying to rotate a lot of guys in right now, and there's no real feel for one another yet. And I think we're doing that on purpose. I think that'll do a little bit better job of that. We don't have half our offense in right now, to be honest with you. We felt like last year we were an average defensive team. We knew we were going to maybe put together a little different starting lineup that was not going to be our best defensive starting lineup. So we put a little more work on the defense than normal, and this week now we'll put in a lot more of our offensive stuff. But I think getting the ball inside, and Nick's got to score in there. You know, last year he could score, but remember this, it won't be as easy from the score as it was last year, because everybody knows what he does. Everybody, you know, we're going to get more double teams like we got a little bit the other day. We're going to get more people playing him to the certain sides. He's going to have to adjust a little bit to that, but I think he will. The good news is if we get it in there with a Jaron or a Ben or Gavin, you know, we got some guys that can get to the offensive glass now, so we get it in there and he gets it up on the board. I like our chances of getting some offensive rebound. In the 2 games, we're averaging about 14 or 15, and that would be phenomenal. I don't think we'll average that many, but and some of it depends how you shoot. When you shoot as well against Ferris, and we got 19. We shot over 50% against Georgia, and we only got 10. But percentage-wise, that's a pretty good showing.
Obviously, Jaron after the game said he learned his lesson about not being so handsy maybe a little bit on the defensive end, but From an offensive side, there's only 2 shots were from 3 now. They didn't do that in the first game. I guess, what's the balance you want to see with him versus inside out?
Well, I want to just let him grow a little bit. I mean, he is like a new puppy, you know, we're trying to teach him, you know, where to pee, you know what I mean? It's not in the house, it's outside. So he's like a new kid on the block, and he's learning. I mean, I don't know, maybe Purdue, I don't know if many more physical teams will play than that team as far as physically inside. So that was really good for him. And he did learn. You know, what we said after is the plus of it was he didn't back down. He's just got those olive oil arms, you know, they go forever. And so if he doesn't chicken wing himself and get that arm in, it has a tendency where some can wrap around here, and the refs will call it. When they wrap around your whole waist and almost for the second time, it's a problem. So he did learn a lot. He was great after, you know, he was almost apologizing to me, and I was laughing because, you know, Nick was in foul trouble last year every game, and he's big and strong. So we knew Jaron had a little bit of that. He's got to learn to play down a little more. We'd like to get the ball into him too a little bit more, and he took 1 bad 3, 1 good 3, but I'm fine with him taking 3s. He shot the ball well enough. I just think he has so much more to his game, and I thought one thing he didn't do is he put it on the floor better against Ferris than he did this team. But remember, you know, we're playing against 2 very experienced guys, and guys that have been around and played a lot of games. I mean, my kid's picked player of the year in that league, so it was a good test, and we put him on him first just to see how he would do. And that's part of the reason exhibition games are good.
Tom, Josh was, obviously we know how he struggled in that first game against Georgia. He looked more confident, more sure of himself. What's the key for kind of getting that each night from, not that he's going to make every shot, but that he has that confidence?
I think confidence is every shooter, you know, him and McQuaid both, every shooter, you know, every pitcher, confidence, every quarterback, confidence is a big key. And, you know, we started off the game, we went to him right off the bat, and you know, I said it's time to get back on a horse, you know, 0 for 12, you gotta get back on a horse. And to his credit, he came back, but his whole demeanor was different, you know. I think he learned a lesson too, which I hope we all do, that your offense shouldn't dictate. I mean, he was on that offensive glass. What you didn't see there, what you saw in the film is he and Miles kept a couple balls alive, that they didn't get the rebound that other people did, and we scored on him. He did a lot more than his 10 or 12 points, whatever he had. And defensively, he was improving, you know. We're improving. Our ball screen defense was so much more improved, and he was part of it, you know. There's a couple little things that I think he and Cassius got to improve on when a screen's coming, and that's getting up, pressing up a little more, so it's easier to get over the screens. But, you know, Josh didn't worry me after that 0 for 12 start. It worried him. I mean, I saw him all summer and all spring and all fall. Last thing I was worried about were him and McQuaid making shots. Now, if you get in a slump and, you know, you don't find the basket, that's going to be something you're going to have to deal with. But one game sure wasn't that to me.
Tom, I don't think we talked about Chilling since Sunday's game. Couple baskets, seemed like he was moving pretty well. Have you seen that same level of mobility kind of return for him in the preseason?
Yeah. I think his mobility is back to almost what it was, almost. But what's still lacking, but is a lot better, is now his confidence in what he can do. You know, and he actually made a couple plays. He was a lot more on balance, made his free throws, you know, and he did defend better than any of our bigs. So we got a lot out of Schilling, and yet keep in mind, because this is what we told him after, you know, 8 months out of that thing, 9 months. It's not just going to happen coming back, and still going to be, you know, more than a few growing pains, and we're going to have to be patient with him. He's going to. I learned my lesson last year with McQuaid and Kenny, so I was happy to see him moving. I wished I would have got Ben in a little bit more. Twofold reason why we didn't, just the situation, and maybe more importantly, you know, we're a little tentative too, as a staff, because we think he could be valuable, he could be a guy that could really do some things for us and help. It might not be a ton of minutes, but in minutes, and we don't want to waste that on an exhibition game necessarily, and yet at the same time, he's now even longer than Gavin, so we got to get him some minutes. So that's the happy medium we're trying to fight.
I just wonder, this is going to sound awfully technical.
Baseball season.
Isn't it right? This is going to sound awfully technical coming from me, and it'll be your last technical question from me this year. But I'm wondering, with the depth you have now at Diggs, I mean, when you got guys in foul trouble last year, you were in trouble, you had nowhere to go. With more big guys that you can rotate, will you play any different defensively with all that?
Yeah.
Is that a factor?
Oh yeah, it's a factor. We're hopefully more physical inside. And we actually did play more physical inside. It's just that we ran into a team that was as or more physical than us. But you talk to their coaches and they thought we were so physical. We talked to our coaches, we thought they were physical. But it was funny because during the game, you know, DJ was chewing on Nick for something, and Nick said, I don't want to foul. And DJ said, we don't care if you foul this year. You know, it doesn't matter. We don't have handcuffs on you like last year, you know. Go do your thing, you know, be who you are. And I think that's going to help us at the end. I mean, we can't be clubbing people and putting them to the line, because we learned from Georgia. I mean, where did they go? 22 for 24, 24 for 26. What, Max? You should have that, being the new guy in the block. Do you know it?
Yeah, 22 to 24.
Very good. Okay, so he said 22 to 24, and I believe him. And so we don't want that either. But we're definitely going to play more physical, a little more aggressive. Not worry about things as much as we did last year. I promise you there'll be no Newt Rockney speeches that end with, and by the way, Nick, go knock somebody on their butt, but don't do it where you foul. You know, that was the oxymoron of last year, and that's over.
Tom, it was evident in the game, excuse me, and you addressed it afterwards about needing some guys to be more selfish. You're probably the only coach in America that has that problem. But how do you get them to be more selfish?
Yeah, you know, I'll work on it. It's not a bad thing to have to work on. You know, a lot of things I'd like to do in my job, and if I have to worry about just doing that, that's a pretty good job I got. And it starts with Miles, you know, and yet Miles has to figure out that he can be selfish without being selfish, meaning when he got a couple buckets going to the offensive glass, you know, that wasn't like he was getting a shot or this or that. But I want Miles to be as aggressive every minute of the game, because I trust him. You know, I thought he took one bad shot early because I think he hadn't had a shot yet. And so if he's more aggressive, he's putting it on the floor so much better than he did. He's passing so much better than he did a year ago, that I think he's starting to fall in love with it and like that, you know. I got to tell him, you still got to score points for me. And that's what I told him at halftime. You know, I thought at the end of the first half he kind of came on a little bit. But, you know, in general, Cassius, I thought, is another guy that can pass up some shots, and he might be shooting as good as anybody on our team right now. So, you know, McQuaid has done it a couple of times. Some of it, for some of them, might be confidence. For Miles and Cassius, I think it's just unselfishness, and find a way to have a happy medium in there.
What have you seen from Cassius? I mean, even offensively, that's different than a year ago. If you had to characterize where he was even toward the end of last year to what you're seeing now.
Better shooter. So he's worked hard on his shooting, and as I said, I mean, if I went to most nights right now in practice, I'd say he's been our most consistent shooter, which probably shock a lot of people, because Josh and Matt McQuaid are probably our best shooters. But, and Miles is shooting the ball awfully well too, but I'd say Cassius has been the most consistent. What I think he's starting to feel more and more comfortable with is realizing, you know, last year he was a guy that had to have the ball in his hands. He's still always going to have the ball in his hands, but he realizing he can give it up early and get it back, you know, trusting the system a little bit. I think he's done a better job of that. And I feel really comfortable as long as he doesn't get casual. You know, he threw that one over. He had a couple of turnovers that were casual, but he hasn't done that much in practice. I've been I've been as impressed with Cassius as anybody in our team. And I thought in this game, the first game, I thought they penetrated him pretty good. This game, I thought he did a much, much better job, which is always encouraging when you go from one game to the next. And that's what'll be great about this week. You know, we play another Division II school, but it's a well-coached one that runs a lot of different motion things that you can't prepare for. And, you know, are we going to take them for granted? Are we going to prepare like we're playing against ourselves? And that's what the battle cry of the week will be. Can we grow up a little bit? Not only grow as a team, can we grow up and mature a little bit?
Go ahead, Chris.
Thanks, Justin. With Ben, and really with Xavier too, I mean, those two guys seem to have a pretty good feel in terms of passing. What does that allow you to do in terms of maybe high-low and some different things that maybe you couldn't do last year?
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty astute question because we think we can do more high-low. In fact, we talked about it at halftime, the way they were doubling down there. And Ben can shoot it well enough from there. Xavier can, if you count a bank shot, is the same as a regular shot. But he is not doesn't have a broken shot. He has a decent looking shot. He just needs reps now. But that's where both guys can pass, and you're right. I thought Xavier played awfully well, considering first big game, you know, home crowd, all that. He said he called that free throw bank. I think he's lying through his teeth. But other than that, I thought he showed, you know, some composure against some physical guys. He's my Elena Gagne, you know. Some people, you know, like physicality, some people avoid physicality, and some people seek physicality. He's a seeker, and it's going to be fun to coach him because he's a seeker. And if he's screening, he wants to screen hard. If he's defending, he wants to defend hard, and if he's rebounding, he wants to rebound hard. So he's probably been as good a surprise as I've had, as far as maybe better than I thought, which usually the surprises, as we always say, work the other way. So I think we are going to be able to do some more high to low. I think we're going to be able to utilize those guys as passers, and in Ben's case, even as a shooter.
Fred got to ask the technical question, so I'll ask the Fred type question now, even though he has the mic. Do you remember a Halloween costume from your youth? I know you like to dress up for your Midnight Madness, but...
I'm dressing up as Fred tonight.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be scarier than hell.
You'll get ladies all over you.
Or a good trick-or-treat story from up north?
That's a good comeback, Fred.
You and Mooch get out there?
I'm trying to think what Mariucci and I did back in the day. You know, I don't know what my favorite costume is. You know, they didn't have all those fun masks. They had those ones with the rubber band, you know. I'm sure it was Superman or something once in a while, but I can't say I remember that. Either that means I'm getting older or I didn't do much, you know. But Halloween's always a big night at my house here. It's amazing. I'm kind of in a corner, and I seem to get people from both sides. And I actually, because we were off yesterday, I went with my wife to buy candy and had my son with. And my wife likes buying the big bars and the this and that. And when I looked at the bill, I said, "What the hell did you buy?" You know? She goes, "Well, we get 400 to 500 kids, and sometimes I'm gone. I try to be there, but you know, sometimes my players are around. I walk around with them. So I guess we get a lot of kids. So I'm hoping for cold weather, so not as many, you know. But I'm actually, it's one of the more fun nights for me to be home because I just happen to be in the right spot in my neighborhood where everybody kind of congregates in that corner and goes every which way. And so it'll be fun, you know. I think I'll just dress up as me and hand out candy. That'll be a good time. Watch the baseball game a little bit because I want to help Freddie out. And thank God that godforsaken sport is almost over. Anything else?
Yeah, I just wondered, I know Sunday was about the cause and I wasn't there, but I saw the pictures. I wonder if it was kind of neat for you young players to experience that you're not just the East Lansing Spartans, but you're the Michigan State Spartans.
You know what? It was cool. You know, it was really kind of a neat experience because I couldn't believe they sold it out like that. I even got calls from different media around the country. You know, it speaks volumes of your program if you can go to a different venue, and whether it be in your own state or not, it still speaks volumes about the impact you can have. I talked to our players about that, and I think they were impressed. I think they were excited. And then, you know, giving back to different people, that's another good lesson to teach them. So that was one of those weird days where there were a lot of wins and not many losses. You know, I think Mark felt his team played pretty good. I thought we felt our team played pretty good. You know, I think he said something to me that that was worth 2 weeks of practice. And I kind of felt the same way, you know, which makes me wonder what I would probably pull for in our NCAA or NABC meetings, you know, because, boy, having that one time against, you know, the real good teams is, I think it's good for you, especially if you can experiment a little bit.
All right.
Anything else?